Welcome, everyone. My name is Aparna Amy Lewis, and I am a Vedic educator in the Awakened Self Foundation. I'm here today to have a wonderful conversation with Acharya Shunya, who is our lead educator and founder for our organization, and she will be teaching a course very soon called Roaring Abundance and Wealth. So tonight we're going to have a lovely conversation together and answer any questions that you may have that have come up for you. Welcome, Acharya Shunya.
Thank you, Aparna.
I wanted to invite you to tell us a little bit about before we get into what the Roaring Abundance and Wealth course is, as it is one of our 3 courses from our Goddess series, our Roaring Goddess series. But these classes fall within a bigger context of your beautiful Goddess teachings. And I wanted to talk with you today about some of those teachings and kind of understand where these teachings came from, how they came to you, and maybe you could convey some of the joy of these Goddess teachings and what we hope to bring through them with this class. Where did this come from, Acharya Shunya?
I've been so blessed that I was born in a Vedic family with a lineage that goes back 2,000 years. And plop in the middle of our home in India, in the holy city of Ayodhya, we have a goddess temple. So I grew up in a home that was revering the goddess. I grew up listening to her stories, her legends, her mythology from my mother. And then when I grew up and you start facing the life challenges that most people do, I found that these goddess teachings and the stories I had heard, bits and pieces of it were coming to me. I'm also a goddess devotee. And so I kept meditating and reflecting upon this goddess world, so to say, with the meaning, the symbolism, the archetypes, the stories, the mantras, the mudras, the symbols. And I started practicing them on my own, making connections and drawing new meaning from an old story in reference to my life as a modern day woman, modern day mother, modern day teacher, in a world that is filled with strife, inequality, injustice, rape, war, and there is the quota of emotional doubt and inner estrangement that we are all dealing with as modern day humans. But this teaching was illuminating. And then 3 years ago, it really feels like the goddess mandated me to bring some of her teachings out through my voice in my newest book, Roar Like a Goddess, which is, of course, with Goddess's Blessings, an international bestseller. So if you want to know where does this come from, it comes from her. She gave me the life and the reason to stay connected with her, and now it's blossoming as teachings.
Thank you. Yes, and for anyone who's watching that hasn't yet procured a copy of Roar Like a Goddess, I highly recommend it. It's incredible. And it is the sort of super text that these classes are kind of, they're grounded in that book, but the classes are also something more than the book or different than the book. Would you like to talk about that, Shunaji? How did you get the impetus to create this Roaring series?
I felt that the book Roar Like a Goddess addresses the human need to look at power with new eyes, that it's for everyone, that you never run short of it, and you can find it inside you through the right goddess learnings and attitudes. I wanted to empower anybody who's been systematically disempowered for any reason. But what I couldn't bring into the book, I bring into this course, Aparna, because I felt that if you want to really lead an empowered life, you have to look at 3 core areas of life. That includes personal health, that includes relationships with other people, and of course, we can't ignore it, but wealth and abundance play an important part to lead truly fulfilled lives, we need material wealth and spiritual abundance in our life. And that's why I created these roaring series, so that I could then bring additional teachings. So if people have read the book and then they take the classes, that's perfect. But even if they come directly to the classes and then go to the book, that's fine too, because everybody needs health, wealth, and, you know, good relationships that are mutually satisfying and empowering.
Yeah, thank you. I think that's one thing that we've heard again and again from prior students that have come through these classes is how empowering these classes are to take the teachings and really put them into action in their life. And so with the roaring abundance and wealth, what is, the whole idea of it is, of course, to be roaring. What does it mean to be roaring with abundance and wealth? What is the roaring part?
You know how the roar is like a authoritative voice in the jungle. You hear a roar like, yep, that's a roar. Yep, yep, that's somebody who knows their power and who know it's a declaration. And so when we roar with wealth and abundance, it's a declaration. I got the right attitude. I have an unapologetic relationship. I have a dharmic, good relationship. And wow, I'm overflowing. That's a roar. And we can't settle for anything less, really. And why should we?
Something you just said about it, this idea that like you express something that it's really expansive, like that roaring is really that really strikes me, because I think so many times in this modern era, kind of to accumulate wealth is either seen as something like small and petty, and as spiritual people we shouldn't want to be accumulating wealth or even be concerned with it, or if we are concerned with wealth, we want just enough for us and nobody else, and we hold on to it in the modern world. This is sort of the nature of capitalism right now. It's like, hold on to what you can get. And what you're describing sounds a little different. Could you speak on, is it okay for spiritual seekers to want wealth and pursue it?
I'm fortunate to represent a tradition that sees spirituality as a balanced way of life and not an attempt to prove our holiness. This is more about living while expressing our wholeness. And wholeness includes the material dimension of life, because we are material bodies with a spirit within us. So we have a blending of the material and spiritual. And that is why in the Vedas, or the Vedic way of life, the wisdom demands that we make wealth, known as artha in Sanskrit, an important pursuit, along with kama, which is playfulness and pleasure, dharma, which is ethical, righteous, um, noble thinking, and moksha, which is spiritual pursuit. So, in this big picture that the Vedas create, they made an extra attempt to spell out that we are spiritual beings. We are part of the spiritual fabric, and we deserve abundance, and that we need not be apologetic. Of course, coupled with dharma. It is not abundance with desperation, or abundance that is sought at any cost. This is abundance that is due to us. We clear up our attitudes. We connect with some divine entities such as Goddess Lakshmi, who is also known as Goddess Shri, the mantras, the mudras, and above all, the inner permission to be abundant makes a difference. And when you roar, it's an unequivocal declaration to our own self that we're not going to play hide and seek with abundance. We're not going to sometimes be okay with it and then a lot of the time put blockages, consciously or subconsciously. We're going to let this be a way of our life so that we can continue to be the king or queen of our jungle. metaphorically speaking.
Beautiful. Yeah, thank you. That connection, the that connection between abundance and dharma sounds like it's such an absolutely important part of these teachings. And I assume that students will be gaining that knowledge when they come to the class. They'll be learning about dharma. Yes. Yeah. What else can students expect if they come? Is it going to be a lot of theory? Is it going to be, what's the class going to be like?
If you are new to me, then I want to warn you that I don't plan classes such as so much theory, so much practical. I convey a deep truth. It's experiential, it's connected, it's visceral. Expect a transformation. If you're attached to your survival situation, then don't take this class. We will be really blasting through some unneeded mental constructs. We'll be connected as a community. We'll be listening to some knowledge that fills us with bliss and abundant experience in the moment and allows us to create a truly pleased and satisfied, pleasureful, abundant life. I don't believe that there is any words that can be said, because I really feel that anybody who's listening to our conversation this far is being called by the goddess Lakshmi herself. And if you've ever wondered, what's that connection? What is the divine plan for you? Are you in alignment with it or not? Is the law of karma on your side, or are you misusing it or becoming abused by it out of ignorance? Why not find out and maybe even read some testimonials of our numerous satisfied students. We've deliberately kept the workshop so open and accessible at an entry level, as well as I can see that many of the students I've known for a decade or more seem to want to be part of my classes. I really feel it's original, it's in the moment, it's not scripted, and yet I bring all my training and all my devotion and all my conviction to it, hopefully. My invitation as a teacher is, come have a blast with knowledge, with devotion, and with Goddess grace. The rest is up to you in terms of logistics, etc. But hopefully, if some people can't catch the class live, they can always watch the recordings.
Absolutely. Yeah, all the classes are recorded and they're posted onto a private community, and students have access to these recordings in perpetuity forever. And we also have community gatherings and community forums and lots of opportunities to really churn these teachings. You mentioned Lakshmi, goddess Lakshmi, and she plays a pivotal role in this course. And I wanted to see if you would like to say anything more about goddess Lakshmi.
I really appreciate the Vedic culture that they have an entire goddess dedicated to wealth and abundance. This goddess is not just a woman, an anthropomorphological version of divinity. This goddess is really symbolic of the divine feminine, bearing gifts for us, wanting us to be abundant and fulfilled. Lakshmi is a goddess associated with wealth and abundance, 16 kinds of abundance, and there are some very special mantras, which are special chants, mudras or hand yogic gestures, and some stories and symbolisms that are unpacked, which shapeshift our mind and change our attitudes at a very deep level, so that we stop creating unconscious obstacles and in fact create an open portal for a divine feminine presence, intelligence, a universal factor, a cosmic engagement, so to say, to begin working in our favor. That cosmic opportunity, the Vedas term as Lakshmi, and see Lakshmi as a representation of the divine feminine, which wants to bless each one of us. Each one of us is deserving. And if we are dealing with scarcity or we are dealing with even poverty, obstacles, then a relationship with Goddess Lakshmi is worth exploring. And a benefit of this class on roaring abundance and wealth is that deep familiarity, intimacy, and appreciation of the goddess becomes part of your everyday life and becomes one of your tools to bring and download more abundance in your life on a daily basis. Become also more appreciative and grateful for what you're already getting.
Beautiful. You just mentioned one really powerful thing that I think comes through this class the most, which is the many different kinds of abundance that we have. And I think I just want to thank you. I want to thank you for sharing these abundance things. And I think that these kinds of abundance, because I think students may learn so many new ways in which they're already reaping abundance. And maybe this class will give them this opportunity to reflect on and to understand. Is there anything you'd like to share on those kinds of abundance that they may explore?
Like increases like. When we know the 16 types of abundance of the different ways Lakshmi blesses us with abundance, we may already have 2 or 3 types of abundance that we've not noticed. The more we note that abundance, the more we are grateful for it, the more we begin enjoying it mindfully, deliberately, soulfully, the more other portals of abundance begin to show up. It's a connected world. It's like you read one book, it opens you to a world of books. You become grateful and alive to one way abundance is coming to you. You start toggling with the Lakshmi switch, and other forms of abundance that are yet to come begin appearing in your life. That's why it's important to know where you're noticing abundance and where it's opposite, and then work with that.
Thank you. And just 2 more final questions that came in that were asked by students. One, I think you've answered before, but in the context of this course, are these teachings for everyone, or only for women, or are they for everyone?
Each one of us has a divine feminine in us, regardless of our gender. So whether you are someone of a binary or non-binary gender, or still deciding, you still need abundance and wealth. And I invite you with all my heart.
Beautiful.
And Lakshmi loves you either way.
Yes. One final question came in from one of our community members, and they were wondering if these teachings are different than ones you give in other classes, and I think we've answered that, but if you want to share on, for people who have taken a lot of or who are involved in the membership courses or in other classes, is this a unique series?
Oh, absolutely. It's a very uniquely cultivated, thought through, planned series with a very specific content and an intention that an average seeker who walks in, who signs up the class, who may know nothing about the Vedas, the Vedic tradition, or Lakshmi, but they just know they want truly to open the portals of abundance and wealth in their life. They walk in over 4 weeks and 8 classes, 4 with me and 4 with you. I have a belief, and now we've seen it happen. The seekers will walk away very competent, comfortable, and as some people noticed, they were having miraculous changes even during that 1 month. So this class is very customized and detailed with practices and very scoped teachings not to be found elsewhere, because it's not possible to give these teachings outside a contained container with context, guidance, and step-by-step teaching.
Thank you. Thank you, Acharya Shunya. I myself am looking forward to this class, not only as assisting in the class, but also attending. I always get something new and fresh from your teachings. And every time I get to facilitate, I get to learn even more. So thank you. I want to invite everyone to sign up now. Registration's open, and we will begin with our first class on July 5th. Welcome. Jai Ma. Thank you.